I've applied every single possible buff. Time for the Room of Close Associates. Okay, first boss in this room is Super Slogra. Thanks to the buffs, it's not a problem, but he can poison you, and its shot cannot be ducked. Boss number 2 is Gaibon. He flies around, shooting down a diagonal. You can duck under his fireballs and stab him like usual.
It's unbelievable that you've made it this far. Your power has truly grown. Indeed, you are a worthy opponent, but I cannot allow you to go any further. Prepare to die.
And now we have to fight Death. One of the big differences between this Death boss fight and many others is that Death has no blockable or destructible projectiles. All of his projectiles are huge, they do a lot of damage, and they're not especially easy to avoid. Also, in between his actual attacks, he will summon a wizard dude. His other attack includes throwing the bodies of bosses from Lecarde Chronicles 1 at you. These cannot be blocked or destroyed, and after that he will summon this lightning fence. Only the spark in the middle can actually hurt you, and it does a ton of damage if it does. The trick is to maneuver the scythe to a place where you can actually just slide under it. And deal with enemies as become, because if you do not deal with them, they will remain on the field.
Fallen ones, come to me. You will remain in the Garden of the Dead.
You have to move out of the way from where you were standing when you were dodging the Von Veltheim projectiles in order to avoid getting hit by that. Once you reduce him below 5,000 hit points, things start to change for the worse for you. During the summoning, he will not only summon a wizard, but another Super Slogra. And during the Von Veltheim projectile phase, he will not only shoot out from the sides, but will also have one throw down one from above. Death is almost certainly the hardest boss in this game. I've lost my buffs, but I should be able to finish the fight. The thing is, he's the hardest, but they also give you a lot of leeway to prepare for him.
You will remain in the Garden of the Dead.
And down he goes. So yeah, beating Death wasn't a problem, I just had to use absolutely everything I had. Okay, so we've mugged Death and taken his watch.
Finally, I have found it. My ancestor's sword. It was here after all. But I fear that I am wounded and too weak to wield it. I lend you my sword. Use it to rid this castle of evil. I must return to my slumber and leave you to restore peace. Farewell, Lecarde.
And our reward, besides the clock, is, let's see here, the Alucard sword and another of the black orbs. The Alucard sword is the most powerful sword you can find normally. There is a more powerful sword, but it's a rare drop from Gaibon. And Gaibon only spawns in one place, which is here. So, now that we actually have the Death's Clock, we can now go about collecting the rest of the black orbs. Which is what we're going to be doing for the rest of this video. Yeah, I figured that I might as well give it a shot. I mean, Gaibon is right there. Yeah, the things you need to collect all of the black orbs are the skull emblem, the headband that increases the range of your air dash, and Death's Watch. Plus, we found the Bloody Scepter, which allows us to see exactly where all of the black orbs are on the map. We've already collected the one from Pinwheel in the underground cave, and we've collected the one for defeating Death, which means there are only 6 more to go. However, they're scattered all over the castle. Yeah, those succubi projectiles deal heart damage. Just deal with these enemies here, which won't cause us any problem anymore ever. Because the Alucard sword does just enough damage to kill these red-robed enemies in one hit. Which means it makes your sub-weapons able to kill them in one hit. Yeah, first thing I'm going to do is save, or I guess not. I'm just heading back to the library, I think. Yeah, that seems like the right place. Yeah, something that changed between versions is that if you pick up health potions but are already full on them, they actually respawn if you didn't have the capacity to take them, I think. There are parts of this game which I still don't understand myself. These books don't do any damage to you, they just push you back until you grab the black orb. Then they just disappear. Yeah, we're going to be going back through Death's Place because the next orb that I want to collect is in the machine tower. And that's another one that's pretty easy to grab. Now, to talk about Alucard, I don't actually mind Alucard's presence in that particular scene for a couple of reasons. The first off is that it's pretty obvious based on bloodlines that the Lecardes must have done something to help Alucard out at some point. And the second is the idea that, let's take a look at where Alucard was when we found him back there. He was in a room right next to Death's boss room, which means that Alucard may have tried to fight Death himself and lost. Well, let's deal with this clock. Ah. So Alucard was in the room next to Death's boss room, and he was pretty badly beat up when we found him, which means he probably tried to take on Death and lost. And I don't mind that either, because I think it actually adds an extra dimension to their conversation at the beginning of Symphony of the Night. Because in the beginning of that game, Death is like, "Look, I'm giving you a chance to just walk away." And that gives it somewhat more weight, because there's that unspoken bit of, do you think a second round is gonna go any better than the first time? And that also works even better because it's nearly impossible to defeat Death as Alucard in Castlevania 3 also. Now let's see where we're going. So there's really nothing about that I actually have a particular problem with. Some people might disagree, but I'm just giving my take on it. And besides, if Robert Belgrade didn't like it, he probably would have turned down the role. This is a fan project. I don't think he was doing this for money. Speaking of fan projects, even though this doesn't cover the Belmonts or the Draculas, I'm still more than willing to call this a Castlevania game. First off, because of the obviously high quality and attention, and secondly, it's really, right now, since Konami doesn't really seem to care about any of its flagship franchises, it's really up to the fans these days to keep Castlevania alive, or at the very least keep Castlevania undead. They may not understand our black magic now, but they'll thank us for it in the future. Now I'm going to save before I go after this next Black Orb, because it's guarded by a pretty nasty opponent. And there we go. So, remember that chain that went through the fake ceiling that I declined climbing up last time? Well, now we can actually go through the skull door, and I'm going to turn on my shield. Because you see, this door is guarded by the meanest axe armor in the entire Castlevania series. He does a ton of damage, and he inflicts weakness. Plus he takes a ton of damage too. But now that's out of the way, we have no reason to come back to this area anymore. Well, at least not yet. Well, actually, there is something we can get here because we have the white armor. Let's see what we got once we cut through these jerks. Okay, dispose of monsters, equip armor, and that is the spectral staff. What does that allow us to do? Oh. Well, let's concentrate on the black orbs for now. Oh yes, there is actually a reason you might want to get the circlet that reduces the hard cost of Holy Powers and Von Wildheim Powers. The thing about the Holy Powers is that they are one-use attack powers that can do a lot of damage, as I've shown you, but the later ones have really huge hard costs. The final Holy Power is actually the Holy Cross Item Crash, and that costs 120 hearts. So if you can work up the cash to cut that down and you want to use it, do it. I still haven't figured out what this room is all about. Well, maybe it's nothing. Now let's move on. Well, we have the thing that extends the range of our air dash, so we might as well use it. And there we go. And the spike armor, just for insurance. But I did fine. Okay, here is the most powerful defense up ring and the black orb for this area. Now let's move along. Okay, there was a skull door in the Garden of the Dead, and there was also... Just making sure I was where I was supposed to be. I decided that I might as well save first. There's no telling how I might be able to screw this up. Oh, now I remember what I was doing. I thought I was heading to the underground cave, but oh, yes, I'm not heading to the underground cave. I'm heading to the black orb in the theater area. There's also something else there that I want. And I'm taking a lot of damage because I actually forgot to re-equip the Heavenly Plate. Go me! It took me a pretty long time to notice because, aside from that Axe Knight, I didn't actually get hit by anything. Well, except that Flea Man, but I thought those always did a ton of damage. Hello there, Axeman. How are you? Throwing axes. Well, gonna have to do something about that. Okay. Perfect platforming. Okay, first things first. Save. Alright, Puppet Show, do your worst. Okay, we got the Black Orb, and there's actually a Skull Door in here too, so we might as well check that out while we're here. I don't know what that thing in the carpet is, and I'd rather not. And in here is the Feather Headband and a big old pile of cash. The Feather Headband removes the heart cost of hovering. So, let's see what's left. Once we get to a relatively safe place. Okay, there's just the one in the underground cave. Underground cave. I mean, the Garden of the Dead. Okay, nothing too special going on here, especially now that I've equipped my correct armor. Okay, cure the weakness, get hit by more weakness. That's the way it goes. Okay, getting back to the Garden of the Dead should be pretty easy. Though, my current equipment only protects me a little more than I was the last time I was there, so things could still get pretty nasty. However, this time around I'm not bound to explore every nook and cranny. Well, that's weird. That shouldn't happen at all. Hold on. I'm not touching that thing. Okay, I reset the game because that had the potential to be an extremely nasty bug, and it's a reason why I recommend that you always download the newest version of this game. Basically, there's a possibility that if I didn't reset, a boss I needed to fight would have died before I had actually gotten there, and I wouldn't have been able to show it off. The version I'm playing isn't the newest version of the game. It's the summer release, and the latest version was released in mid-September, I believe. So you should probably be playing that one. See, that's not it. You're not it. You're definitely not it. Ah, there's the skull door. And while I'm here, let's see if there's something we can do about that endless corridor. Let's see if that clock also works on space distortions as well as time distortions. Yeah, this seems to be the right part. Yeah, while you can buy new things, I don't actually plan to buy any new things in this playthrough. There we go. For trouble, there's a music sheet and the black armor. But since we've collected all of the black orbs, you know, there were 8 slots in that statue while we were trying to flee the castle last time. So let's see what happens if we fight Duke Geocord this time. You know, once we get out of this horrible, horrible place. As soon as humanly possible, thankfully. Hopefully, I mean. Okay, the worst is over. Now all we have to do is just get out. Hello, Skullmans. Not much more to say about this area. I don't think we're ever coming back here again. Move over, mid-game enemies. Meet late-game Lecarde. So it's back to the altar for us. That's not a save point. Just making sure I have everything I need. Well, everything I want to have equipped anyway. Yeah, blah, 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 Lucifer this, Satan that,
Lucifer,
demon, demon, demon.
Rise from the depths of hell. What? Miserable vermin! You are too late. Lucifer will bask the world in evil.
Okay, I've already said everything about the Duke Geocord boss fight. It's just going to be like that, but faster this time because I have a stronger sword.
Everyone you love will die.
Also a better idea of where to stand when I fight him.
Reduce them to ash.
Goodbye. Well, I wasn't able to save Christine this time either. Hey, these enemies weren't here last time. And out we go. It's a Castlevania game, of course the castle is gonna collapse.
After a fierce struggle inside the Castle of Eternal Night, Ephraim narrowly escaped the collapsing lair. Unfortunately, the same could not be said for Christine. With Duke Geocord's successful summoning of Lucifer, many years of bloodshed soon followed, but along with other knights of the church, Ephraim managed to repel the forces of darkness. Ephraim's effort was remembered and honored, but at the cost of countless lives. No honor could spare Ephraim from the anguish tormenting him until the last of his days. If only he had stopped the summoning of Lucifer all those years before.
Okay, so we won, but not in a way that left Ephraim with a clear conscience. But hey, here are our credits. Okay, the Spanish translation was done by Jorge Fuentes, who is actually a really good Castlevania remix guy. Check out his YouTube channel sometime. There are a lot of voice roles for a fan game. I'm still wondering how they even got Robert Belgrade and Kira Buckland? Well, we're not done yet, because you see, This was only the B ending. So we're gonna be setting about getting the best ending starting next time. See you then. Goodbye.